so much for joining me for Daily Spark with Dr. Angela. I'm your host, Dr. Angela Butts-Chester. You guys know who I am, and you know what I like to do on my show. Say it with me. I want to enlighten, inspire, and empower you to become your best self. Now, scripture reminds us that the tongue is a small thing that makes grand speeches, but a tiny spark can set a great forest on a fire. And that's what we want to do today. We want to get you fired up about our topic. Today, we are talking about strength in sisterhood. That's right. Voices of victory. So, you know what I'm going to tell you to do? Go on, get comfy, get cozy, get your coffee or get your tea because we are about to get started. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you, everyone, for joining me here on Daily Spark with Dr. Angela. I am so glad to have you join me, be it that it is good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. I am so glad that you are here with me. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Now, I like to think of Daily Spark with Dr. Angela as one of those places where we can come together, sit around the table, if you will, with our coffee or with our tea and have a nice, good old chit chat about the things that are going on in the world and how we can best make sure that we are living to be our best selves. With that being said, we are talking about focusing on the things that often get overlooked, but they are so powerful. And that is our connections and our conversations that we have with other women. So, sorry guys, I don't mean to leave you guys out this time, but I do want to make sure that you stay. You're welcome to listen in, but I want to make sure that I give some kudos to my fellow women out there today. So, we know that we all live in a world that tries to divide us, that tries to compare us, and even sometimes keep us silent in a negative way. But today's episode is about lifting each other up, not just in moments of triumph, but through the valleys, through the breakups, through the hard times, the disappointments, and in the everyday in betweens. We're talking about strength in our sisterhoods. And I want you to kind of lean in today because this message is going to stir something perhaps in your spirit. After you listen today, please feel free to find this. I know this is radio, but if you would please find this on your favorite streaming platform as well. And then share it out to your community, to your tribe. Let's encourage one another today in a positive way. So, what are some things that we can do? And why does sisterhood matter in the first place? I'm so glad that you asked. Sisterhood isn't just a circle of friends, sisterhood is a covering, it's a spiritual, emotional, and sacred space that we have continued to not only carve out for ourselves, but one that we honor for not only the women who have gone before us, not just for ourselves, not just for our daughters, but for our grand, great daughters as well. We find that this is a place that is deeply necessary, not just needed, but necessary. It helps us process, it helps us stay grounded, but more importantly, it helps us make sure that we are staying accountable to our faith. When women come together with authenticity and accountability, something holy happens. Something special happens in that space. We exchange shame for strength. We do away with comparison and instead we act out of celebration. When we take that perspective, we find that our sisterhoods are able to really flourish and grow. So, of course, we have to ask ourselves questions to make sure that we are doing and being our best selves. So, let's start with some reflection questions. First would be, who are the women that speak life into you? Now, what I mean by that is, who are the women that are always speaking a word of encouragement to you and over you? Now, sure, we have our friends that have conversations with us and simply talk with us. We need them. We love them. But we also need to have those women that every time we see them, they are saying something positive. They are saying something powerful, and they're speaking it to us, for us, and with us. Who are those women? Make sure you are aware of who they are and don't take them for granted. Sure, can it be tiring sometimes thinking, like, wow, she's always so positive and she's always being encouraging? Girl, I don't have time for that. The real life is going on and I feel, bad, 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 bad. Absolutely. That is a part of being human. But there's nothing wrong with the person who chooses to combat the toxicity, the negativity, the uncertainty, the lack of confidence with something that is confident, with something that is bold, with something that is sure, with words that remind you of who you are and whose you are. We must protect these women at all costs. We must make sure that they continue to thrive and grow. And guess what? We need to also speak life into their lives as well. Second question you should ask yourself: do I have relationships that stretch me and bless me? Yep, that's a good question. I know. I can see you nodding your head like, haven't asked that in a while. I know. That's why I'm here today, to remind you. Do you have relationships that stretch you? And do you have relationships that bless you? So, who are the women that speak life into you? And do you have relationships that stretch you and bless you? The third is, are you allowing yourself to be seen by your sisters? Or are you hiding behind your strength? I know I didn't mean to ask a heavy question there, but it's important nonetheless. So many times, unfortunately, we feel that we must dim our light in order to let others shine. That should not be the case in your sisterhoods. You should be able to shine as brightly as God would have you shine, and there be no ill will towards you. I am so glad that I am afforded that in a sisterhood of the women that I call my family. And you guys know who you are. We have laughed together. We have text each other randomly on purpose with intention. We can sit in silence amongst ourselves and be okay in the quiet. But we can also laugh and be silly together, and that be okay too. Thank you for allowing us to just be us. So, as you are reflecting, I want you to ask yourself, are you allowing yourself that type of sisterhood? If not, that's something that you could change, something that you can address. Ladies, we should just be ourselves today, whatever that means. If that's like no lipstick or just lip gloss or no shoes, just socks. How about no blouses, but just t shirts, right? Like not business casual, but just jeans and t-shirts, just comfy cozy. Just watch a silly movie. It doesn't have to be one that's going to teach us something. It's just okay to just be. Those are the type of sister groups that we need as well. We need professional ones, we need faith ones, but we also just need sisterhoods as well. So let me remind you this way. Ecclesiastes 4 9 and 10 says, "Two people are better off than one, for they can help each other succeed. If one person fails, the other can reach out and help. But someone who falls alone is in real trouble." See, even Jesus surrounded himself with both intimacy and community, with real friendly groups. The disciples, the guys, they were there. That was his intimate friend group, if you will. And also with community, those that were friends of friends, those that were church members, as we may say, church family. But in each circle in which he moved, he knew what circle he was in. His inner circle was intentional. The guys, 100% purposeful. And your sisterhoods should be too. Be mindful, be aware, because you too, sister, have the mind of Christ. So you don't need a crowd, but you do need a core. A few God ordained women who don't just clap in your public wins, but they check on you with your private wounds. They don't just applaud when their name is called in your thank you statement, but they smile when they see you online as though you were sitting or standing right next to them. They cheer for your kids as though they were their own. You know what I mean. If you walk in and you're so happy to see them and you hug them as though you haven't seen them in years, and it's only been a few weeks or maybe a few months, yep, those are your people. Don't forget about them. Don't leave them to the side, but make sure that they know that they are loved. Well, everyone, it is time for us to take a very short break, but don't you worry, we are going to continue this conversation. We'll be back right after this. And we are back. Thank you so much for joining me for Daily Spark with Dr. Angela. I'm your host, Dr. Angela Butch-Chester. Today we are talking about strength and sisterhood. Don't worry, guys, you're welcome to join in and listen. Just because we're talking about sisterhood doesn't mean that you can't join us for the chit chat. So, what are some things that we can do? We can really build healthy connections first and foremost. What can we do to make sure that we're doing that? We can make sure that we are building healthy connections. I want you to think of the shift in the conversation this way. Let's keep things honest. Let's keep things transparent. Let's always be real with ourselves. So, not every relationship that we have with another woman has been a healthy relationship. And you know which ones I'm talking about. Yeah, those, right? Like, you can't even imagine why you put yourself in that situation, right? But now that you have lived through it, you have what? Gained wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and now you are wiser having survived it. But you also know that you will no longer put yourself in that position again. And so many women carry the hurt from that betrayal, the hurt from that jealousy, the hurt from that silence with them wherever they go. Well, it is now time to heal that wound and to have some support where you need that support. So, God can heal even that. So let me just put that out there for you to remember. So God can heal even that. And when we do the work of showing up and being our authentic selves and having open and honest conversations with ourselves, with God, then we create a space for that restoration. We create a space that is more than just survival, but you create a place in which you can thrive as your authentic self. I know you hear it all the time. I don't want you to just survive. I want you to thrive. And it's like, what does that even mean? It means learning to understand what caused your pain in the first place. Where were you hurt? Where were you harmed? And how can you make yourself whole again? And it all starts with having that honest conversation with yourself. Many times it also ends in having to realize that I'm not going to be um, in that circle as often as I used to be, because that circle just isn't as healthy as it used to be or as it could be for me. So, with that being said, because you still love them or like them or you care about them in some way, shape, or form, and you don't want, you don't want them totally and completely out of your life, but you do realize that spending more than fill in the time, there, spending more than an hour with them is not what you need to be doing at this stage of your life, right? So, just being aware of what you need to do. So, let me give you three keys to actually experiencing a more healthy sisterhood. Number one is intentional communication. Having intentional communication means that you say what you mean what you say. You ask for what you need, you ask them what they need. You don't make your sisters guess, and you give them what they need so that they don't have to guess about you. So everything is reciprocal, right? So say what you mean, they will say what they mean. But ask if you do not know. Give the information that they need to know in order to help you. Don't make your sisters guess. We are not mind readers. So, anything that you would say to yourself, sometimes you may need to say to your sister group, right? Hey, you guys, I'm really not feeling it today. I don't think that I should, come out and hang out with you guys because I'm just feeling just blah today. I'll see you on Saturday or I'll see you tomorrow, whatever day, right? But if the sister group says, oh no, guess what? We're all kind of feeling not really good today. Why don't we get together and we can cheer each other up? We can all have some tea, we can watch a movie, or we can go out to eat, and we can, kind of soothe each other. Okay. You never know what can happen when you're open and honest. So say what you need and allow each person their space. You can always suggest an alternative, but if they say no, then also respect them enough to give them what they say that they need. So, why is that important? Because sometimes, let's be honest, you have those people who don't want to invite themselves. They want you to invite them. So they're going to say, I don't know, you guys, I think I might want to stay home, because they want someone in the group to say, but we can't possibly do it without you, we wouldn't have as much fun. That type of statement, right? They want to hear that. And because they want to hear that, they're going to present in a way that allows you to give them what they need by making that statement. If you have a friend in your friend group like that, and you don't mind being the person that reassures them, then give them what they need. If you are that person in the friend group, make sure you're not wearing that thin, because sometimes that can cause people to think that you are putting yourself a little bit ahead of the group. So just be mindful and be aware. Okay. Number two is honest accountability. Honest accountability is so important. It is a a real sisterhood moment that can connect you in a very loving way. If everyone in your circle only tells you what you want to hear, it's not a sisterhood, it's an echo chamber. Okay, there's one thing about true sisters. They are going to tell you about yourself. Even if you don't want to hear it, they're going to tell you, right? So it's like, don't ask your sister group if you don't want to know the truth. So there are good sister groups and bad sister groups with that, though, right? We have some people that are going to tell you the truth in love with grace. But you're also going to have some folks that are going to tell you the truth with a little undercut of malice or brassness that isn't what you need. And you have to be careful of that. Even though they're telling you the truth, you may not like their delivery style. And if that is important for you, if that is something that you need to have in a particular style, a particular tone, then ask the person who's going to give it to you the way in which you can receive it. Because let's be honest, even if you're telling the truth, if you say it in a way that it cannot be received by that person, you didn't really say it because they couldn't receive it. So it just bounced off of them, you know? So let's try to give each other what the other needs in order to allow them the space to accept it, roll around in it a little bit, and then take it and run with it and become the best that they can be. Number three is spirit led support. And not every battle needs to have advice, but sometimes you just need someone to sit and pray with you. Everything is not, the sky is falling type of thing. Sometimes it is just a matter of uncertainty. You just need to hear more or more clearly from God. In those moments, just say again what it is you need, and that friend, that one friend that you know truly that's going to pray with you and for you, make sure that they're aware of what's going on. And they might even invite you over for some coffee or some tea, and definitely have some prayer time with you. So make sure, my dear sisterhoods, that you guys are having real talk moments. I remember a time when I almost pulled away from a friendship group because I felt a little bit misunderstood. But what I learned was that communication before assumption can save a connection. It's when I found out that they were speaking from misinformation that I was able to actually correct that misinformation, which gave them a totally different perspective. And in giving them the new perspective with the actual facts, they too were able to come to a different point of view. And the whole conversation changed. So sometimes it is not that someone is trying to be malicious or that they are trying to speak ill of another, but they may not have the actual factuals. Right? They may not know exactly what's going on. So make sure that everyone is aware and everyone has the truth. Victory comes when we fight for each other, not when we fight with each other. All right. So fight beside your sister, not, trying to trample over her. Make sure that you are aware of where you are in the fight that you are trying to lead. So, what are some questions that you could ask yourself for your journal prompt? I want to give you one. And that is there a conversation you need to have with a sister in your life? Is there a conversation? Now, I'm not saying that it's a bad conversation or a heated conversation. It could be a soft conversation, a reassuring conversation, but are there words that need to be spoken to a sister in your sisterhood? If so, make sure that you give that some thought, you think it through, and you prepare your heart and mind to have that conversation with her, especially if it's something where you're asking for forgiveness or you're asking to be heard, or perhaps you're simply asking for to hit the reset button, that your life has just gotten a little crazy, a little wonky, a little bit, and you were, like hangry, and you didn't mean to be that way. And let her know, I'm sorry, I apologize, I didn't mean to do that, and I want to make sure that we are okay, because there's nothing more important than us being okay. And not every person is meant to be our forever friend, but those who are, we should nurture those relationships and make sure that we are being the best that we can be, so that those sister groups can be the best that they can be. So activate your village. Sisterhood isn't just about those who are around you, it is about you becoming your best and becoming a part of the women that you walk with, and walking with the women who walk with you. Victory doesn't always sound like a shout. Sometimes it sounds like a whisper. Sometimes it is the simple reassurance of, I'm with you, I'm here, I'm praying for you, I see you. Sometimes it is a simple statement of, I believe in you, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and don't forget that I love you. Our sisterhoods are important, and without them, we may not be the women that we are today. So don't take them for granted. So before the day is over, reaffirm or affirm in the first place a woman that is special to you in your life. Text her, call her, send her a prayer, or pray with her. Allow someone to show up for you. Don't pretend that you're okay if you're not. Allow your sister to be your sister in the sisterhood. Thank you, everyone, for spending time with me here today on Daily Spark with Dr. Angela. I hope that I have once again enlightened, inspired, and empowered you to be your best self. As always, may the Lord continue to shine his face upon you. May you receive his grace and his mercy in all that you do. Until next time, everyone, remember that you are blessed in the Lord. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.